This next comedian, Kevin Ryan, I met him in Memphis at the Blues Festival. Kevin Ryan!
Thank you. Thank you. Fucking Sinbad, everybody. I'm celebrating. I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary of living in New York, and thank you. Some people say it's the greatest city in the world. I got spit on the other day on the subway. Has that ever happened to you guys? It has, yeah. I've asked that question a couple of times. The answers I've gotten back are, oh my God, that's disgusting. I've gotten back, yeah, it's New York, that can happen. And I had one lady who was like, yeah, I spit on people. I want to blame New York, I do, but I can't because he was a crazy person and there's crazy people everywhere. Could have happened in any city across the country. And you learn quick taking public transportation in the city, when you see a crazy person, there's 2 things that everybody does. You turn the volume on your headphones up and you look the other way. That's all you have to do and you're fine. Worst part about it, when this guy spit on me, we were stopped. Yeah. And he got off the train. And then as the doors were closing, he spit back on the train. Yeah. So there was a big pulled away, there was nothing I could do, I got anger issues. So I jumped up, I took my jacket off, I threw it on the ground, and I was like, you son of a bitch, motherfucker! And then I realized no one else on the train saw him spit on me. So he just turned me into the crazy guy on the train. He was like, tag, you're it, motherfucker! The guy next to me turned the volume up. He's like, this guy was cool a minute ago. I don't know what the fuck happened to him. I'm 28, I'm single, and I drink a lot. It's where I'm at. And like, I'm in my 20s, so everybody is dating on apps. Everybody in their 20s dates on apps. If you don't know what they are, you download an app to your phone, and single people come across your phone. It's awesome. One of these apps recently changed to where you can find single women within less than a mile of you. No, that's too close for me, I'm sorry. And I found this out because I was drunk at a bar, and I was on one of these apps, and I was going through, and I saw this girl, Ashley, that I really liked. I'm like, oh, she's cute. And then it said she was 900 feet away. So I found myself just stumbling through the bar like, Ashley! Turned into the creepiest game of Marco Polo I've ever been involved with. She's the one that got away. I gotta stop drinking so much. I gotta stop smoking cigarettes too. I was born in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s. I don't remember a lot of people telling me not to smoke. The only thing I do remember, in my elementary school nurse's office, there was a poster and it had pictures of animals smoking cigarettes. Doesn't make any sense. There was like a dog smoking, a cat, a frog. And at the bottom it said, it looks just as stupid as when you do it. Yeah. Now I don't know if anybody's ever seen an alligator smoke a cigarette, but it's pretty fucking cool. I guarantee if you went to the zoo right now and saw an alligator smoking a cigarette, he's wearing a leather jacket and getting a hand job from a girl alligator. With those tiny little arms. If they wanted me not to smoke as a kid, they should have just showed me like they should have just showed me a picture of myself, overweight, balding, smoking a cigarette. And I would have been like, I want nothing to do with that guy. Get him out of here. I'm 100% Irish. I grew up with a lot of Italian kids, though, and I have one problem with my Italian friends. They always try to convince me that they know people in the mob. Every single one of them. I was watching a mob movie the other day with my buddy, and he leaned in. He's like, yo, dude, back in the day, they used to call my uncle Joey the Wrench. I'm like, yeah, he's a fucking car mechanic, you asshole. He's a manager of Pep Boys. I'm falling for that shit. And I'm Irish, I can't do that. I can't be sitting there watching TV and a Lucky Charms commercial comes on. Like, yo, you see that dude? Just like my dad. Short, drunk, and thinks a bunch of kids are trying to steal his shit. I've worked a lot of bad jobs in my past, as most people. Worst job I ever worked was I worked for my family. Has anybody ever done that? Yeah. A lot of people work for my dad, huh? Weird. Wasn't that big of a company. I think the hardest part about working for family is knowing when and how to quit. Because like, if you worked at a regular job, you can march into your manager's office and be like, hey, kiss my ass, I quit. And just leave. I can't march into my dad's office and be like, hey, Dad, suck my dick. And then go back to my dad's house. And be like, hey, if you need me, I'll be on the couch. Bring home more cereal. It would be weird. Second worst job I ever worked was I worked at Macy's, the department store. Yeah, hated it. Hated it. Customer service is tough. People would just come in and I would just judge them immediately. Like, they would walk in and be like, hey, man, do you have this shirt in a large? And I would just be like, I hate your fucking face. I hate it. Maybe outside of Macy's you're cool, but inside here, I hate you. Hardest part about that job was getting the job. It was a group interview. I don't know if I didn't even know they existed till I was on one. I walked in, they were like, Kevin? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. They're like, we're gonna interview you and the other candidate out for the job at the same time. I'm like, all right, let's do it. They're like, it's gonna be you and Greg. I look over, Greg's just a better version of Kevin, that's all he is. Greg's wearing a full suit, a tie, and carrying a briefcase to a job that requires us to fold clothes. And the guy's like, before we get started, does anybody have any questions? And I was like, yeah, what the fuck does Greg have in the briefcase? Did you bring folded samples from home? Is that what's in the briefcase? But I needed a job, so I'm like, all right, let's go. So he sits us down in a small little room. It's Greg and it's me. And he goes, okay, Greg, first question. Name 3 things about yourself. And Greg, being the douche that he is like, I'm smart, I'm hardworking, and I'm a fast learner. And he's like, okay, Kevin, same question. And I was like, what fucking Greg just said? I don't know. It's not fair that you asked him the questions first and he stole all the good answers. Anytime Greg said something, I felt like I was on Family Feud. I was like, good answer, good answer. This kept happening. I was doing terrible in the interview. So finally, I'm like, who cares? So he goes, okay, last question, Kevin. And I'm like, oh, shit. This is my time to shine. I'm going to get the good answer. And he goes, what is your biggest weakness? And I was like, I don't know. Group interviews? I still got the job because, like, my dad was the one interviewing us, so, like, I still... I recently had to go to a hospital in a bad neighborhood, and I don't know if anybody's ever had to do that, but don't do that. That's a bad thing to do. And when I got there, I had to wait 4.5 hours because I got there the same time a gunshot victim got there. And I was sitting in the emergency room, I was sitting next to the gunshot victim's family. And the cops were there, and they were interviewing the family. And they were like, who would want to do this? Was he in a fight with anybody? Would anybody want to hurt him? And everybody had the same response. They're like, I don't know shit, I don't know shit, I don't know shit. So the cops leave, they're gone for 2 seconds. The one family member looks at the other family member, and he's like, it was fucking Rodney who shot that motherfucker. Those 2 guys get up, they leave. 40 minutes goes by, then over the intercom, I hear gunshot victim coming in. First name Rodney. Now I'm sitting next to Rodney's family in the emergency room. And the cops are there and they're like, who would want to do this? And I'm like, I know, I totally fucking know. All right, thanks a lot. You guys have been great. Have a good night.